Ladies and gentlemen, I'm reading a New York Post article. Trump hints at legal action over Mar-a-Lago search. Former President Donald Trump said he would likely file a major motion in connection with the FBI's search of his Florida estate earlier this month. Trump made the announcement on his Truth Social platform, alleging that his constitutional rights against unreasonable search and seizure were violated in the August 8th search. So he's going to utilize arguments pertaining to the Fourth Amendment that prevent unwarranted and unreasonable search and seizure in one's home and property. Now, immediately, you have a rebuttal from wonderful, highly educated liberal Democrats who happen to be attorneys or lawyers, not objective, objective reality. You have an expert. If media finds experts that side with the narrative Trump is bad, or any fabricated consensus or coerced consensus or widespread agreement among the smartest people in the room, okay, you have to ask, well, what happens to the dissent? What happens to somebody who offers a dissenting viewpoint? Well, that person gets a public relations onslaught against their character, all of that. So dissent is silenced in this country. You can easily find 500 former, current, and former U.S. officials and intel officials who will say that Hunter's emails were a plot by another country to inform you that he was selling out the United States of America for money along with Joe. So that those emails show clear violations of the law, but if you read about them, if you read about them 2 years ago, it was a big problem. Then social media algorithms were altered, and these are the people who claim that Trump is a threat to democracy because they're able to silence and suppress and censor any dissent with a letter from highly educated experts stating, well, our political viewpoint is bolstered by former intelligence chiefs or a whole bunch of experts in one field, and therefore laws, social media algorithms, everyone's viewpoint must adhere to this fabricated, coerced, contrived consensus of highly educated people who happen to agree with Democrats. How does that always happen? How does it always happen? Oh, that's right. If you dissent, if you disagree, if you offer a dissenting viewpoint, your life is over anyway, or I should say your political career or your financial, your income stream, it's impacted negatively anyway. Getting back to Donald Trump hints at legal action over Mar-a-Lago raid. Lawyers are already finding fault with his Fourth Amendment defense. That's because those lawyers are wonderful, morally superior liberal Democrats. Lawyers with a conservative viewpoint on politics, or lawyers who, God forbid, happen to support Trump, have a different view. Hit subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen. Hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel. Become a member of this channel and H.A. Goodman's other channel as well. Subscribe there. We're almost at 20,000 subs there. We're actually going to zoom past 200,000 subs this week. This week should be very interesting. And he has security camera footage. We're going to get to that in a second. And that's going to help his lawsuit. But hit subscribe. If you want to read my writing in The Hill, the Huffington Post, Salon, the Jerusalem Post, the Federalist, other publications, go to hagoodman.com. You want to give a super thanks, that's below near the like and the share buttons. And also, if you want to support my work long-term, my Patreon is below. Now, the reason that I went on my spiel pertaining to the consensus in our country on various things that turn out to have a lot more dissent than you would think. Donald Trump hints at legal action over Mar-a-Lago raid. Lawyers are already finding fault with his Fourth Amendment defense. But do those lawyers know that, according to the Washington Times, Trump and family watched FBI search from New York on closed-circuit TV? He was able to, on closed-circuit TV, look at everything they did wrong. When was the last time the Federal Bureau of Investigation was recorded by a person that they're going after? How about never? I'm sure that there was another example, perhaps numerous examples, but not on this scale. That this never ever happens. Quote, I think the folks in New York, President Trump and his family, they probably had a better view than I did because they had the CCTV and they were able to watch, Christina Bobb said Thursday on Real America's Voice. Now, the rebuttal to Trump and the Fourth Amendment is always, well, there's probable cause. There's probable cause. Then one law professor says, wait until he finds out that SCOTUS has made it virtually impossible to sue federal law enforcement officers for even egregious violations of the Fourth Amendment. Well, okay, it's like, you're not even explaining how the Supreme Court lawsuit pertains to a former president. That could be the case. But here, presumably he means a motion to suppress evidence, which people know. And then you have to ask yourself also, like, do these professors in law school who happen to vote against Trump? See, there are professors, God forbid, there are academics who love Trump. They cannot say this out loud. There are academics, experts, lawyers, business people, judges. There are people throughout the community. We have almost half the electorate that voted for Trump, think he's fantastic, or that think he's a lot better than mashed potato brains Joe. Okay? You never see that in media because you take one article from New Yorker, and another article from the Washington Post, and another article from Vanity Fair, and another article from Time Magazine. It will be almost the same piece of writing. It will be the same writing, the same vantage point. You basically could, at this point right now, replace almost every journalist, not from conservative publications. There's actually a greater array of viewpoints, but within conservative publications, which are like 5 or 6. You could take the Federalist, Washington Examiner, National Review. There's other publications, Daily Caller, Washington Times, Wall Street Journal. You could say New York Post is fantastic, Daily Mail. But other than that, I mean, I could list you, I could give you 30 publications. Washington Post, New York Times. If you want to say MSNBC, CNN, but also the New York Times, New Yorker, New York Magazine, Vanity Fair, Esquire, Vice, BuzzFeed. Well, Mother Jones and Nation, they're always going to be part of the Democratic Party, but Los Angeles Times. Let's see. I mean, you can look at Gizmodo. You can look at, publications that aren't, very, that don't have a great readership or, a wide, millions of people reading them. Still, you can look at the entire public relations. Like almost every article on Trump is written by an AI program. You could replace the journalist out there, the morally superior, highly educated liberal journalist, with an AI program. It's the same. It would be the same media we have. Trump is bad, there was probable cause, and if he has anything on closed-circuit TV, it's almost certainly justifying the raid against him, which will almost certainly find nothing, just like the Mueller probe found nothing. If you want to say, well, people were indicted, okay, they weren't indicted on anything to do with what Trump was accused of having done, which was collude with another country. So if you want to spread this wide net, how many indictments do you think you could get with Clinton's team running private servers with top secret intel and finding ways to transfer classified data for 4 years from secure government servers onto her servers? You'd probably get a lot of indictments there. If you had the same enthusiasm among agents to go after Democrats, you get the same indictments, process crimes. But again, I want a Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump 2024. But ladies and gentlemen, they utilize the United States government along with media. That's why we're in a recession now, and they say the Senate's going to stay Democrat. I think the Senate will go Republican, so Trump Republican. I think that the economy will get even worse from now until November. But you have to understand, all of media is pointing always towards Trump being guilty of something. And almost all of media is trying to suppress and silence any dissent or discussion or debate or the actual emails that Hunter wrote that show he violated the law. They have every conceivable advantage from late night. I mean, when you add Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert and Trevor Noah, and then you also add the Washington Post, the New York Times, and MSNBC, and CNN, and the New Yorker, New York Magazine, Esquire, Vanity Fair, Mother Jones, The Nation, BuzzFeed, Daily Beast. I mean, you could look. I can name you a million more. Oh, Teen Vogue. I mean, it's like you can't not read about how horrible Trump is. And yet still half the electorate vote for him. And now they're saying they don't have anything, so they're saying he's a threat to democracy. Democracy being that every publication must have the same viewpoint on Trump. How many Trump supporters are the Washington Post, the New York Times, MSNBC, CNN, Vanity Fair, Esquire, Rolling Stone? How about zero? How many liberal Democrats? Everybody there working, all the editors, all the journalists. You have one political viewpoint, and then people say, we're so polarized as a society. Yeah, because, 20 years ago or even 10 years ago, you could relax and enjoy late night or Saturday Night Live without one political side being disparaged every single day. With more corruption on the Democratic side, by the way, that they're hiding. More corruption than Trump. Because you could actually indict and convict people like Hunter, like Hillary, like Joe, on crimes pertaining to those emails. Trump doesn't have emails showing that he's selling out the country. He doesn't have those emails. He doesn't have 150 financial transactions deemed suspicious. He has investigations. They're actually searching to try to find it desperately. They're praying to God or the science. They don't believe in God. They're praying. They're begging someone to help them find a crime. That's why they investigate endlessly with Trump. You don't need to investigate that. Your investigations with Clinton showed violations of the law, like I explained today. Some people rightfully said, I don't understand this headline. The headline is James Comey's words exonerate Trump. His attempt to, the title of the segment, his attempt to cover up Clinton's actual crimes have already set the precedent to prevent any conviction. If they indict Trump, they're not going to convict him because the precedent has already been set. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe to this channel. We don't know what they did. Did they break the law? He has it on tape. Did they go beyond their search warrant? He has that on tape. Okay? Did they break protocol or guidelines? He has that on tape. And that'll help his lawsuit regarding the Fourth Amendment. When people say, well, you know what, it's really not going to help his lawsuit. It's really impossible to sue the federal government. It's like, well, but the federal government's not usually on video, on closed circuit. Okay, acting in the manner that they do. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe, and I'll be back in a couple of hours. Thank you.